Hey everybody, today I thought I'd share the story with you of how I bought a fish house. So a little bit of background, when I was a kid there was a family down the street from my grandparents that had a wall that was full of tanks of different kinds of pets. That family, they owned a pet shop and they had a lot of animals both inside and out. And I remember going there and seeing the animals, and that's what I wanted. I wanted a wall of animals and as many pets as I could get. And as time went on, I still wanted that. As I was a little older, I would make lists of all the animals I wanted. It would be mostly domestic animals and typical pets because that's all I knew about at the time. And I would spend hours researching different animals, how to take care of them, and what I wanted in the future. When I was 12, I got into fish keeping. Started out, as most people do, with a goldfish with much too small a tank, and learned from that and continued to get more fish. Eventually I got a 29-gallon community tank and really enjoyed that. And then I went off to college and I had some fish here and there through college. A lot of times they were fish that other people were getting rid of that needed a place to stay. And I really enjoyed it. And of course, as I got older and started to realize how many different kinds of fish there were and other animals that I enjoyed, because I'm also a birder and loved to watch birds and just about all kinds of animals, but especially smaller animals, and fish and birds are probably my favorites. I decided that that's what I wanted, but I needed a way to pay for it. And so I decided in college to be an engineer, and that way I would have the money to pay for that. And so I went to school, got a degree, graduated, and then went to work. And it ended up being a little bit more work than I expected being an engineer, partially because there's so much in demand right now, and so there's a lot of work. But I kept at it, and I got a house, and I was going to fix that house up and get a whole bunch of animals. And it just never quite worked out the way I had expected. And I was in the process of starting to plan out a fish room. I was like, well, I've got to get going on this. And as many of you know, 3 months ago, Lucas Bretz of LRB Aquatics at that time announced that he was selling his house with most of the fish stuff, all the fish tanks, all the fish plants, all that he had put together over the last 10 years or so as he had lived here. And he would be, turning over some of the business and everything. And I saw it, I think, a couple of days after he'd actually posted it, and my first thought was, no way. I've got a house, I have a job, I'm in Idaho, there's no way that this is going to work out for me. Lucas is probably going to get tons of offers, and there are tons of people who would give just about anything to be able to take over a fish room like that. But about a week and a half later, I decided, you know what, it doesn't hurt to ask. I think I can make it work. And so a week and a half later, I sent him an email saying, I definitely want it, I'm interested, I can meet your price. And at that point I thought, okay, I've got about a 1% chance of getting this. It's already been a week and a half. Lucas wanted it done in a month, and I would still have to sell my house and get moved out to Indiana from Idaho, and it's just not going to happen, but let's see what happens. And I talked to Lucas a little bit that next week and also contacted a real estate agent for my house and started to do a little bit of extra prep work just in case. And for me personally, I don't know when Lucas decided that I was going to be the one, but for me, his live stream that next Friday made it sound like I was the person, and I realized on Saturday that I was the person, that this was going to happen if we could make it work. Of course, then things got really insane because I had to get my house on the market, had to let people know at work that I was quitting and doing something crazy. I told my parents about it. A lot of people, of course, the first reaction was surprise. You're doing what? And it's like, well, I'm going to start selling and breeding fish in Indiana. I had no ties to Indianapolis, though it is much closer to my parents and siblings who are in Virginia. But it was kind of crazy, but I was really excited. I was going to get 181 tanks and a whole bunch of containers, a lot of fish, plants, some of them pretty rare. I was ready to go and do it. And of course there were some hiccups along the way. We got the house on the market, and thankfully, due to the way the housing market is right now, we got an offer within a day. We had a couple of things we countered on real quick, and by that Friday, we were under contract. So that was really good. Of course, it still didn't look like we were going to meet Lucas's original deadline for 1 month. Really wanted to, looked at some other options of finding a way to finance stuff, and it just wasn't going to work out. And then, so we kept going. The month deadline passed, but as many of you know, Lucas is a great guy. And so we kept in contact, working with each other about what was going on his end and my end, how the process was going. And it looked like we were going to be able to close March 10th. And that was going to work out good for me and for him, and looked like things were going smooth. Things were moving really fast, getting everything ready at the house, getting it packed up, figuring out how I was going to move all my stuff out here, finishing up projects at work so that it wouldn't be too bad for the people who would be taking over anything I left behind at work, and it was going pretty smooth. And then we had one of those heart attack moments that just about always happen, I think, no matter how smooth the process you have. The bank wanted something that for the people who were buying my house, and what they were asking for was probably going to take an extra month. And that really freaked me out because I was already planning on leaving the next week, planning on things closing, and just it was going to really mess things up. But we got it figured out and closed on my house on the 9th. And that night I left Idaho to start traveling to Indianapolis. I stayed in Utah for a day with some family so that I could be available with internet as we were closing on the house on March 10th, with me purchasing Lucas's house. And it went smoothly, and we got all that taken care of. And then, continued on, spent the next 2 days driving to get here. And of course, Lucas was here. We did a really, really quick tour, but it was done. I was now the official owner of the fish house, and I couldn't believe it then. Still a little surreal sometimes as I look around and realize that this place is mine. But I spent some time getting to know the place. Lucas has been amazing over the last month or so as he's shown me how to take care of the fish room, how to ship out the fish. I don't think I can ever thank him enough for all that he's done along those lines. We did some work in the backyard on the ponds, and I'll be showing you guys all of that stuff, plans for the future and everything in future videos. But it has just been an incredible journey. It's been a whirlwind of about 2.5 months. I know Lucas has felt the same over these last few months, but that's how I came to own a fish house. I am so excited to keep sharing this journey with you guys, and I hope that if you have dreams that you continue to work for them. You may not be able to have the opportunity I've had to buy a fish house, but you can certainly do steps to make it so that you're a little bit closer to those dreams every day. So keep trying, and I hope you can reach your dreams. Bye.